Welcome everyone to another episode of Couch Coaches. I'm John Lazaron and I'm joined by my OG mate here, Richard Villalady. How's it going, bro?
Good, bro. Yeah, good to be here. Nice to see some of the old blue and green jerseys going. So it's another week, another 2 points for the Warriors, and I think the couch coaches maybe a good luck for the Warriors because they haven't they've collected 2 points every weekend, I think, so far. So how good?
That's a good point to make. Ever since we've started this, we haven't lost a match, so maybe this needs to keep running. Yep, well, we'll keep it running, but hot off the press, mate. Some news in the last couple of hours. NRL news. Payne signs on for 3 more years at $1.2 million a year. There was a lot of noise going around where he's going to go, where his management apparently we're going to wait until the November 1st deadline, and to see what test the open market. Maybe even Western Force Rugby we're going to go and sign him. Apparently we're going to sign him up as well. We're interested in him. But yeah, he's gone to the Broncos for 3 more years. I mean, I thought he was going to do it, but there's just, for me, it was just too much noise around it when it was just something that he needed to sort out with his management in the Broncos.
Yeah, so I feel like the rugby rumor I only saw yesterday, so it was obviously I don't know whether that's just a journalist, looking for a story or all that. He'd be bloody good in the other code, and you look at the price that they paid for Joseph Suaalii, who's gone from next year, maybe the year after. He's gone to Australian rugby, and they're paying him ridiculous money for a winger. So they could have thrown a bit of cash out there, but I think the fact that the Warriors are obviously playing such good footy this year, much as I hate to say it, as we talked about last week, they're not one of my favourite teams in the competition, but they're playing great footy, and he's one hell of a player. And I think Broncos fans will be, and the club in general will be very happy with that signing. It's a lot of money, but when you look at it in the scheme of things, he's one of the best front rowers in the comp. There's another player who plays in the the blue and green who I rate quite highly as well. But yeah, Payne Haas, great player, and good to see him staying in the great game.
Fair enough. Yep. But also off the press, Tavita Pongai Jr. to quit NRL to pursue a boxing career. Now, what do you take about that? And I've got my own thoughts on Pongai Jr. But before I do let my thoughts out, what are your thoughts on him and also his new pursuit in boxing?
Yeah, has he? Do we know? Has he done? He must have done some sort of charity boxing or something. Has he?
I think so.
Going ahead? Yeah.
Well, what NRL player hasn't done it? So yeah. Yeah.
I was just reading before, he's on 750,000 at the Bulldogs at the moment. That's for a player who, I don't know, I feel like you won't hear from him for a year. He obviously been playing all right this year. He had that had to go in the Origin and was actually quite good there. But I mean, it's probably the third time I feel like I've heard his name this season. The other two were talking about Origin, and now he's retiring. He's obviously not retiring for concussion reasons, and scared of physical contact because he's going into a similarly physical sport. Will he be able to make that sort of money playing boxing? Who knows? But interesting. I was very, very interested to see that. Well, I mean, you just touched before. You've got some thoughts on the decision and maybe Tavita Pongai Jr. What do you got for us?
Well, I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. Never have been. Words I have for him, grub is one of the big ones. Wasted talent is another one for me.
Yeah, well, he was. You think back to when he was at Penrith, and there was a lot of hype around him and all that, but he probably didn't live up to that when he went to the Doggies, did he?
No, definitely not. So I just think I mean. You can see that he seriously, you can see that he was a talented player. He had the talent, but he never showed it for me in my eyes. He was always there. He was always a big name forward that, a lot of clubs wanted to get his signature and bring them over to their clubs. But for me, he just never produced the what's the word? He just never brought the performances.
Lived up to expectation, yeah.
Yeah, just never brought the performance to the game. And he was quite injury prone as well at times, and I think that I kind of feel like he's not happy. I think for the last 3 or 4 years he hasn't been a happy man. He's gone from Brisbane to the Penrith to the Bulldogs, and the time he's been in between those three clubs, he just hasn't seemed like a happy man. He doesn't seem like a happy man, and I think that's reflecting on his game. And I think that's why he's just decided to pursue boxing, because he's just not happy in league. Just like Harris Tavita, wasn't happy with the Warriors or with league in general, and he just decided to take a year off. But obviously, this is boxing. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of him. But also coming up with boxing news, Big Nelson. He's going to be debuting and pursuing a boxing career too, but not giving up the league for it. But he's going to be doing boxing. That's all I know at the moment. But he's going to step in the ring with someone. Don't know who, but
yeah, I did say something about that.
Yeah, he'll be more frightening to me.
There's a few big names. There's going to be a few big league names on that fight card, so it'll be exciting to look at. Look out for it. It's always a good time. While we're sort of talking about some of these front rowers, I want to talk about the man in the blue and green I referred to before, Adam Fanua-Blake, and just how well he's playing. I know I said before Payne is playing pretty good, but do you reckon Fanua-Blake's the best front rower in the comp? I mean, he's right up there for me.
Without a doubt. I was reading some stats on him, like from just from last week's game against the Tigers. He played 70 minutes of that whole match, and the only reason he came off because he had a little bit of a niggle after he scored his try. So would they have taken him off after that? I don't know, but he played. When do you ever hear a front rower playing 70 minutes in a game? He did it. Didn't show tired. Didn't look like he was out of energy. He ran 270 meters, 80 post contact meters, 6 tackle breaks, and 1 try. I mean, take a bow, Adam Fanua-Blake. You're amazing, and I'm just so happy he's at the club. And I think even though Payne Pass is amazing, I think, in my opinion, could be the bias thing here, but I actually think he's a lot better. When he gets the ball, obviously with post contact meters, he gets the ball, he runs it, and you just know he's going to make a gain. He's going to give you some gain advantage up on the field. So yeah. I've got a lot of things to say, but I'll let you have your say as well about Fanua-Blake. But yeah, I just think he's awesome.
No, I mean, you said it. I think we've sort of known what he's capable of for a few years.
Yeah.
And last couple of years he's been pretty good for the Warriors, but I've sort of felt there's something missing. But this season is just constantly week after week. One of the great performers. We sort of touched on some Dally M, some Dally M Player of the Year chat last week, and I think Payne Haas was the leader from memory. So he'll probably be front row of the year. But I think Fanua-Blake will be a close second, and it's just great to see. It's the post contact meters that get it for me. Every time he gets the ball and hits it up, he just puts his head down. He's always looking for the offload as well. Smart footy player. For a big man, he's got a bit of toe as well. He's scored a few tries this season. I think 6 or 7. I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm loving him, the way he's playing, and he seems to really be loving wearing that Warriors jersey. So. Kudos to you, Adam Fanua-Blake.
Yeah, players just don't know how to take him down, do they? I mean, he seems to just be 3 or 4 players will be holding on to him. He'll just be standing in the middle of the tackle, looking around to see if he can offload or something. He just, the power that he has to just, burst up the field and, do it time and time again without having too much breaks is amazing. And I think, if he was on the market, in every single club would go after him. I don't doubt that one little bit. He's that good. He's that good. But I'm loving the fact that he's at the Warriors. I believe he'll stay there as well. I think he's happy there. Again, touching upon the whole happiness thing, like with Pongai Jr. and stuff. And a lot of the Warriors now seem happy. And that's what's awesome about the club, is that they seem like a club where you can actually, draw players into. And I think he's happy there. And you see it through SJ as well, playing really well. And it's going to be awesome. But one thing about Fanua-Blake that we won't see this year is that he, with the new Tri Series that's been announced with the Kiwis, Australia, and Samoa. So Tonga's not involved, but so Fanua-Blake won't be involved in that. But it's only going to happen in October. So they're announcing it, just a few months out. But exciting times for league, especially for Kiwi fans and Samoan fans as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I feel like with the NRL being such a great competition, but being so long, the international game gets, takes a bit of a back seat sometimes. So yeah, it is. It's quite bizarre to announce it. A couple of months out, but I'm sure there's been talks about what's going to happen. Samoa obviously would have got the nod this time round. They were obviously the better team at the World Cup, making it all the way to the final, which is great to see. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it'd be great. Obviously, the Kiwis didn't get a chance to play Samoa, so it'll be cool. We haven't played against them for 3 years, so it'll be great to see that game. I think the finals at FMG Stadium I saw. So the NRL or the International Rugby League Federation obviously enjoyed what they saw on Saturday night. Obviously, wasn't too many streakers. I think there was just that one moment, which I didn't realize until just before I saw a video. It turned out there was about 4 or 5 streakers all on at once. So
pitch invaders,
it's great to have some international rugby league to look forward to. And after sort of, the Kiwis kind of took them a while to warm up to that World Cup last year, and then that final was, that semi-final, against Australia was a great game, and I think we probably had the better of them for about 70 minutes of that game, but obviously Australia's pass came through, so hopefully we'll get a chance to maybe get one back. I was actually at, must have been, I think it was a Tri-Nations final at the Cape Tin about 10 years ago. I remember it must have been 2014, 15 maybe, and we beat Australia in the final of that. I think it was a Four Nations one, but it was a great game. Sean Johnson played amazing, but Marty Tapau was playing incredible, and then he got injured as well, so it'll be cool. Hopefully we can get one up. We've obviously had a bit of luck against the Aussies in those competitions, but we won't be able to sleep on Samoa as well, because they've got an awesome team, and they'll want to build on
come back,
last year.
Jerome Loy and all those guys. I hope they come back for Samoa. But let me ask you this quick question with the Kiwi side, with the spine. Now, Sean Johnson was obviously left out, and they went with Malcolm Maguire went with Jerome Hughes at 7, Dylan Brown at 6, and Joseph Manu at 1 at fullback, and Brandon Smith at 9. So I think Brandon Smith still keeps a spot there at 9, but it's a little bit different now because Dylan Brown's been out of play for a while, due to his, his X. We'll call it just X for now. But Jerome Hughes been out injured as well, and Joey's been playing centre for the Roosters. Who would you have as your spine? Like, seriously, like now, because Sean Johnson is definitely in contention now, considering his superb form.
Well, Brandon Smith has to be there. There's some pretty decent sort of backups nines, but he's the clear favourite there. I think I'd put Joey Manu at the back again. He was amazing. He's obviously, he's kind of just been thrown around the place a bit in that Roosters team. I think he's played a fair amount at fullback, a fair amount at in the halves, in the 6 jersey, and then obviously I think he's back at centre at the moment. So he'll be at 1. Can Hughes or Johnson, would you play one of them at 6? I think they're probably the form. Dylan Brown he was playing well before his indiscretions, and probably hasn't been able to, find his best form since coming back. He might have to. I think Moses is out for the rest of the season, and the Eels, if they're in that sort of 9-10 region, where if every game they lose, they get further and further away from making the 8. So if they are to make the 8, it's probably going to be on the back of some big performances from him and fellow Kiwi Dejan Arce. Is Dejan Arce Kiwi? No, he's not. Is he?
No, I don't think so. Oh, no, he might be, but I'm not sure. I think he's.
I don't think so. Yeah. So I think I'd probably have Hughes and Johnson, and they are both very much 7s, but you'd probably one of them could.
And I'm
the way that Johnson's playing at the moment, he's running that show so well on that right side, So maybe put Hughes at 6, because Hughes is sort of, I don't know, he's a bit more. Johnson's got a good running game as well. They'd be a pretty amazing halves pairing if they could sort of, one of them could figure out what to do and step into the other side of the field.
It's a hard one because I really can't think of it, because I've never seen Hughes play 6. I don't think I've ever seen Johnson play 6. Maybe he has, but they've both got good running games and kicking games as well. So I think that they'll go with Johnson and Hughes at being the pairs halves, the halving, sorry, the pair to halve the game. But I just don't know who will take the 6 on. I mean, I guess will it come to someone putting their hand up saying I'll do it, or will Malcolm Maguire will have to say, okay, you're going to do it? I don't know, but I think my spine would be Brandon Smith, Jerome, Sean Johnson, and also Joey Manu at the back. And Joey Manu at the back. I mean, Chance has probably got a shot there as well because he's been playing well, but I think they'll probably go with Joey at the moment.
Yeah, because Chance played in the centre today last year, so I think that's sorry. I think they just stuck with that. And because I mean Joe Manu, Chance is playing awesome as well. Yeah, I mean there's some very good players coming through New Zealand Rugby League system at the moment.
Good.
So
which is a good thing.
The more international footy we can get, the better. So hopefully. I know, last year they did that sort of mid-year test against Tonga, when they had the State of Origin game on the Sunday. So it'd be cool if they did something like that again next year. Because it's great to see the international, great to see the Kiwis run out, great to see these island teams really, putting their hands up and sticking it to the big dogs. So
well, speaking of the big dogs, obviously Australia World Cup champions at the moment, but their captain James Tedesco, he's been the talking point around the series is about whether he does he get his spot back at fullback with right behind him, or maybe even surpass him now. Reece Walsh being the fullback, probably the fullback of the year at the moment. There's a lot of talk around he should be or Tedesco should be making his way for Reece Walsh. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, Tedesco's just such a class player, and he got a lot of flack in the Origin, but you think back to that game 3, he picked up his game and he was huge. I mean, yes, Walsh is the form fullback in the comp probably, and Tedesco's probably not even the top 3 fullbacks in the comp at the moment. You got Dylan Edwards is playing out of his skin as well, probably the most underrated player in the comp, I reckon. Dylan Edwards, pound for pound, just seems like smart, tough, nuggety. So, I mean, I wouldn't, on form, you wouldn't question it, but I think they should still go for Tedesco. Was he the captain last year?
I wouldn't be surprised if they go with him again. Like I do think Walsh, maybe probably deserves a spot. It's the way he played in Origin as well, but these teams tend to go loyal at times, and I think they'll probably go with Tedesco and give him one more. But probably from next year on, I don't think he'll be there. I think Walsh will be the fullback. He's the future fullback. So I think that's what maybe Mal Meninga will look at. He'll think he'll be there for the future. Let's give him Tedesco one more outing because he is still a good player. Just that Walsh is playing better, and Dylan Edwards is playing better. So that's it for me. But should we go into the review of some of the games from last week? To be honest with you, mate, I didn't actually watch a lot of NRL last week, and that's bad on my part. But when you're married and you've got to make some sacrifices as well. So I'm sure you know about that. So
too well, bro.
Yep.
I mean, I had some family in town, so I didn't watch as much as I would have liked to. But from looking at the results, there was some pretty crazy results, and a lot of results that sort of had a lot of influence on the round. So on the ladder. So Manly obviously come against the Panthers on Thursday night. We're never gonna win. They probably made it closer than I was expecting. I think I declared Panthers 13 plus as my lock of the week. But 24-12. Manly are now 12th on 25 points, and Rabbitohs are 8th on 28 points. So they're 3 points off. 3 rounds to go. Can we put a line through Manly yet?
I think so. I mean, to be honest, I actually watched that game. I did watch that game, and Manly actually put up a good fight. They were at halftime. I think it was 12 all, or maybe I think Panthers went into the ahead. I can't remember, but it was very close. But they were doing really well. Manly, they were on the front foot, and then there was an intercept by Stephen Crichton, and to me that was a turning point, because then that's when Penrith just went into another gear, and then they just blasted them. And there's some really weird things that I saw in that game. For example, I don't know if you heard about the kicking duel that happened with
I saw
Ruben,
that. Yeah.
with Ruben Garrick. Like they kick the ball down. He grabs the ball. First thing he does, first tackle, kicks it down, and then they saw him get it and they score a try off it. I was like, what the heck was that about? Apparently it was when they asked Anthony Seibold, the coach, what was that about? He said it was part of the plan. I'm like, okay, so part of the plan was to give away position to the opposition, and then they score the try. Well, that's quite a plan in my eyes. And I mean, part of the game of rugby league is about holding position as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then trying to get an advantage when you kick it downfield, not give it away on the first tackle. But apparently it's been done a lot in the kicking duels in the past, but it didn't make no sense to me, and it just stuffed them up a bit. So yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. I thought it was quite bizarre. It was like I was watching a game of Union. It's like, no, this isn't what we're watching NRL for.
Yeah.
And the Panthers they're flying. 38 points, first on the ladder, plus 289. Give them the minor premiership now.
I can't see them losing that. Yeah.
They're just they're a very good rugby league team.
Yeah.
So Friday night, bit of a surprising result, I thought. Sharks going up 36-6 against the Titans.
Yeah, surprised me as well. I thought Titans would do it.
I mean, the Titans are well out of the race now. A few weeks ago we were sort of talking about them being the up and comers, and watch out for them in the 8. But I think they pretty much can't make the 8 anymore. They need to win every game, and then they need 3 teams to lose every game, that sort of thing. So the Sharks are now up to 5th on the ladder, up 30 points. So once again, 2 weeks ago we were probably bagging the Sharks, but they seem to have found a bit of a second wind. Have you got you reckon the Sharks can sneak into the top 4? They're only 2 points off now.
I honestly think the top 4 is pretty much set in place. I don't think you can knock off Penrith from that number 1 spot, even though they're on equal points with Brisbane. I think they're on equal points with Brisbane, right, on the top of the table there.
The Broncos are,
but a points differential. I don't think.
So,
I think if they just keep winning, you can't knock them off. So they'll have to lose one game, and Brisbane will have to win all theirs to for them to get the minor premiership. But I think number 1 and 2 are set. Warriors all they need to do is just win, because they've got a 2-point buffer on Melbourne. But I can't see Melbourne losing as well, especially the way they played on the weekend. And I think Sharks will stay there. I think Raiders will keep dropping down. I think the Raiders. I said this before. I mean, I can't remember how many episodes ago I said this, but I said they're pretenders, and it showed. They only just, and no disrespect to the Tigers, but they only just beat the Tigers, and then last week they got flogged. I mean, did you see the post-match media conference with Ricky? He was just the reporter asked them. So how were the players feeling? He's ask them. he was just like another Wayne Bennett sort of type thing, just very blunt and just didn't want to answer the questions. So yeah,
never stop being you, Ricky Stewart. Love it.
Yeah.
What was next? Yeah, it was a bizarre weekend. Yeah, and then the Broncos go and spank the Eels by 44 points, 54-10.
Yeah. I thought they would, but not by that much.
I think I maybe tipped the Eels as to upset the Broncos, but that was probably more just my dislike of the Broncos. But the Eels, I think looks like Moses Luck is out for the rest of the season. Eels are on 10th at the moment, 26 points, plus 21 points, point stuff. Yeah. So they're only 1 game off the 8, but
can't see them doing it.
Nah, putting a line for them.
Yeah, I'd put a line for the Eels, because despite the fact that they're close to the top 8, they're just not informed, and I reckon they've given up. I mean, just look at the way they're playing, and there's not much words you can say about it. It looks like they've given up.
Yeah.
To me, they're giving up, and I just think they can't do it. Yeah.
It just shows what obviously they were a good team last year, but lose a couple of key players and what can happen. So
exactly.
Eels fans will be hoping they can bounce back for next season if John's right and we're putting a line for them. I'm probably going to put a line for them as well. I think it'll be a bit hard for them. Just too much competition and teams playing better than them around them.
Yeah.
So what happened on Saturday? Early game, Rabbitohs 26-14 against the Dragons. Rabbitohs still are looking a bit ho-hum, but they'll be happy just to, like get another win. I mean, at the moment, this point of the season, 2 points is 2 points, and as Warriors fans, we can very much vouch for that. But I mean, I don't have too much more to add there.
Expected win, but nothing special to come out of it.
I thought that the Rabbitohs would win by more, but they'll just be happy they've taken the 2 points. They're just sitting at 8th. So, there's just basically this. I think there's 7 teams sort of fighting for 4 spots at the moment. 8 teams fighting for 4 spots. So, we've got an exciting few rounds ahead of us.
Yeah.
The main event, FMG Stadium on Saturday night. The Tigers hosting the Warriors.
Yeah.
It was nice that they really embraced the Tigers home game and
take about Tigers.
Looked like the crowd were getting amongst it.
Let's review this into a bit of extent. Yeah, let's go to that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the Warriors definitely didn't do themselves any favors, but I think the Tigers showed up. I think they just showed that when they're on, there's some good footy players in that team. They play a very exciting brand of footy, and they scored some great tries. As I said, probably we didn't help ourselves, a few errors, and there was probably a few missed tackles. But gosh, they'll be disappointed they're losing Dane Laurie. Yeah, he had a huge game playing in the 6 jersey.
It was pivotal to their performance. I mean, I thought, to be honest, and we said this on the Facebook page, that we thought that was probably their best performance of the season in my eyes, in my opinion, anyway. And I mean, I know they beat Penrith, but that was a wet, messy, sloppy game. It was just a wet game. And this one was a bit different. You could see they executed their skills really well. And like you said, I thought it was going to be a bit of a blowout after we were up 12-0 after 15 minutes. And I thought, we were just going to, take them to the cleaners from there, but it wasn't the case. And I just thought our left edge defense was really, really poor on the day. We looked a bit clunky. We looked a bit clunky. We looked a bit slow. The last 2 games since we came back from the bye, I think we looked just a little bit too slow. Like normally throughout the whole season, one of the things I've loved about the Warriors is that is how fast they're playing the game. Quick play the balls, and just getting advantage going forward, and it's done at a good pace. And the kick chase is always really good as well from the Warriors. The last 2 games since they've come back from the bye, they have just been really slow, and you can see it. And when the Tigers started to make a comeback, I was a little bit weary. I didn't think we were going to lose, but because of the fact that we weren't playing that great, I just thought that I was a little bit weary. But again, one good thing about the Warriors this year I could say is that they know how to win, even if it's ugly. So yeah. So what do they say? An ugly win is better than a pretty loss. So
oh no, I'll take 2 points. It was raining as well, so we've broken the rain hoodoo. And I think there was a few. I don't know about you, but when I saw there's one shot they had, and looking up at the lights, and you could see the rain coming down, and I started to get a little bit concerned. But no, 2 points is 2 points, and we'll take it every day of the week. And I'm glad that the Tigers came over and gave us a run. Talked before about Fanua Blake. Was any other players who stood out for you?
Not particularly. I mean, Tuapiki did pretty well at the back there. I thought he played better this week, knowing that he ran on the field starting. I thought he did well. But I thought guys like Dane Laurie, like you said, I know he's not a Warriors player, but I just thought it was hard not to notice him, what he was doing. And unlucky for was going back to a different thing, but going back to Egan, getting the throat chop, getting the karate throat chop, going to hospital. Thankfully,
do you think it should have been more of a punishment, or I think it looked pretty extreme. I thought, I mean, it's hard with those ones. Like it's
just unlucky. Yeah, it's just unlucky to me. I mean, I think Dallin did it to John Bateman later on in the game, and he just did a Hollywood act. And you see the way he dropped, like this, like it was just so put on. It was so obvious. It just made me laugh. But
been watching too much of the Football World Cup, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So, he's English, so
Yeah, I think I saw Dallin. He can accept. It was like he got charged with a grade 1, so he can accept like $1,000 fine, or he can challenge it, and he'll get would be like a $1,500 fine. So no concern about missing any games. And Egan's, he was named,
Yeah, he was named in this week's side, but like we had Bailey Serin coming in to take over because Lussick was 18th man, and Lussick had played half the game for the New South Wales Cup side earlier in the day. So, but you can see a bit of a change in the game and the direction of the game because Egan controls the game really well from dummy half, and he does his own runs and stuff. And remember that Bailey Serin is there just to be he's there as a makeshift hooker because he's in the game plan for different reasons, to take it up as a forward more than anything else. He's in there for a different game plan, so he comes into a makeshift hooker, so you can't blame him. But you can see the difference in the execution from dummy half when it comes to Egan and Bailey Serin. So not putting any blame on anyone. I just thought we were clunky as a team as a whole, and quite strange. Sorry,
I was going to say, do you think because we've talked about the interchange for the Warriors this season, does it sort of come into the end of the season to just raise the fact that maybe we do need to have Lussick on the bench, and because if we're in a finals game and Egan's had a pretty bad run this year, like no fault of his own, but he had a couple of concussions and I feel like there's been about 3 or 4 games where he hasn't been able to finish the game. So if the Warriors do go deep into the finals and he gets knocked out in 10 minutes in, are we happy relying on
which has happened quite a lot? Which has happened quite a lot this season.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
So I don't know. Well, Bunty's back on. We'll go over the team in a minute, but the Bunty's back as well because Mitch Barnett is out with an injury. I don't think it's too serious or anything, just out for this one game. When Bunty and AFB were starting the games and Mitch Barnett came off the bench, I thought that was a good formula for the team because Barnett comes in with a lot of firepower, and I thought that was a good formula. But where do you put, Bunty if you want Jazz in there? So do you go with maybe starting with Jazz and Adam Black in the front row, and then having Barnett come off the bench with Dylan Walker, and then Curran and Serin later. I think Curran needs to be used a bit more. I think he comes on and plays like a bit of a role late in the game, and I just think he's that too good of a player just to be coming on, just for like a 20-minute spell. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I just think he's just too good of a player to be sitting on the bench for so long. But answer to your question, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to answer. I'd rather Jazz maybe play hooker instead.
He's done that a bit in the past, eh?
Yep, I'd rather the Jazz play hooker because he's also got the insight to take the ball from dummy half and run it forward if he needed to. Where I think Bailey's just more looking to pass the ball. Yeah, so it's a hard one. I mean, we'll ask the fans out there and see what would they do. But it's a hard question. It's a hard question at the moment. But Chance is back, which is awesome. For this week's game. It's overall clunky game, ugly game again. We just need to improve because we can't go into the finals playing that kind of footy. And Webster and Tohu Harris came out at the end saying the same thing. We don't want to be playing that way, and it's not how we. I think Webster said that's not how we play. That is not how we play. And we just missed too many tackles and let them through too easily. It made them look good as well. They were good, but then we also made them look good. Yeah,
I think that the Tigers might, one to watch next year. They might surprise a few people. But I don't know if it was Aristotle or Plato who said that, but someone said, 2 points is 2 points. So we'll take it. We'll take it this week and go forward.
Yeah.
We'll just do a quick recap of those last 3 games. Roosters 30-40 over the 30-14 over the Dolphins on Saturday night. Roosters now they're 11th, only 2 points off the 8. So, and they were looking pretty good. So that could be one. I'd written them off a few weeks ago, but they might be able to sneak on in there.
I think it's too late.
Yeah,
I
oh,
think
we'll
it's too late.
see. We'll see. They don't have a great point stuff, so that's not going to
Yeah.
work in their favour. Storm absolutely spanking the Raiders, 48-2.
Yep. Not
I
surprised.
mean, yeah, maybe you're a bit of a Nostradamus there. Got a Raiders, or do we call them the Faders around here? You know,
Yeah.
48-2, huge loss, and the Storm just clinical. Yeah, they're not going to lose any games. So the
I
Warriors,
think
yeah,
Raiders will drop out of the 8.
as you said, the Warriors need to keep winning because the Storm are coming. And then the Knights, 42-6 over the Bulldogs. So the Knights, another one to watch. They're up into the 8 now. They're 7th, 29 points, 110 points differential. So they're in the plus. And
I think that's their 6th win in a row, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, 5th or 6th. So
yeah,
I did tip the Bulldogs because
really well.
I thought, Knights have to lose, but I'm not so sure about that now.
No, I again, another prediction of mine. I think that they'll be the dark horse of the series. They're playing some confident footy, and I think they don't care where they end up. Everyone wants to end up in the top 4, but I think as long as the Knights are in the top 8, I think they'll say they play a brand of footy where it's like, bring it on, whoever comes in front of them, bring it on. So they're playing good. I'm actually more nervous about playing the Knights rather than the Cowboys, etc. Who everyone thinks are going to be the dark horse, but the Knights. So the Cowboys are just outside the top 8, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 9th. I think a couple of weeks ago you were tipping them for the top 4, weren't you? Cowboys?
Oh no, I didn't think so. I don't think I was tipping them for top 4. I thought everyone was tipping them to be the dark horse, and I was a little bit thinking yes, but I actually think the Knights are taking that spot of the dark horse of the comp at the moment.
Yeah, well, they're creeping up, and they only need to sort of win one more game than the Sharks and the Raiders, and they'll finish 5th. So they have a home final.
Yeah.
Sweet. So do you want to go through this week's games?
Yep, sure. Let me just pull them up 1 second. We'll do this quickly. First game Thursday night, Cowboys versus Sharks at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. That's going to be a big game.
Huge game.
Yeah.
For both teams, I think. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys need a win. They've had a couple of losses, and the Sharks they're flying at the moment after a pretty rough patch. So, Cowboys at home. I'm going to go to Cowboys. I think they might just get back on a winning streak.
Yep, awesome. I'm going that with you as well, Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Cowboys. They're probably my 3rd favorite team, I reckon. Always had a little bit of a soft spot for them. And the Sharks were very good last week, I thought. Down the Titans the way they did. They looked like, backline when it's on, they're absolutely firing. And I think Wade Graham's come out this week, and he said he's retiring at the end of the season, so they'll want to send him off on a high. But I don't think it'll be this week. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Cowboys.
Fair enough. I'm with you on that one. And the big game of the round for us: Warriors versus Seagulls at Daniel Anderson Stadium at Friday at 6 p.m. our time. I'm loving the fact that that's something we forgot to mention, is that they're calling it Daniel Anderson Round, and they've changed the name just for that weekend to Daniel Anderson Stadium in Auckland. So that's awesome. Again, we went through the team. Team is the same as last week, except for Bunty coming in for Mitch Barnett, Chan's coming back in. Wayne Egan still at 9, and the interchange is still the same with Walker, Tavanga, Serin, and Curran. But I honestly think Warriors win this game. But Seagulls is that niggly team. That they're a niggly team. They're just they can pull out anything out of anywhere. And I thought they did really well against the Panthers until some errors that cost them the game, I reckon. But Warriors for me. I'm never going to go against the Warriors. And if I'm being realistic as well, I think the Warriors should win this game. But I don't think it's going to be a 13+ match compared to what a lot of Warriors fans are thinking, that because the Eagles aren't even in the top 8 that we should be spanking them. But I don't think it's going to be like that at all.
No, I mean, since that bye, you sort of touched on it before, we've looked not at our best.
Yeah.
But we've been managed to grind out a couple of wins. Yeah, man, there's something about the Seagulls. I mean, I'm down on them. I sort of like, I wrote them off a few rounds ago, so they're not making the 8. But when we had that, there was that point where we had 5 games left, and everyone was sort of saying, we could win all these 5 games. This was the one I was most concerned about, I think. Just have some bad memories of games against Manly. Maybe it dates back to a certain grand final in 2011. So
no, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
And there was a few. I don't know if you remember. There was a few games where we took our games against Manly over to Perth, and we got spanked a couple of times in them, and then there was a game in Christchurch a few years ago which they spanked us, and so I don't think we'll be getting spanked. I don't think they'll be getting spanked, but I think the Warriors, they might just hopefully, I think it's Old Boys Day as well, so they'll be wanting to put on a show for the old boys, put on a show. I think Daniel Anderson's supposed to be. I think he's going to be at the stadium for the game, so that's huge. Looks like they're wearing the 2002 jersey as well, the grey and the black one. So just an ode to the 2002 team, which Daniel Anderson was the coach of, and we were minor premiers and made the grand final. So
for the first time,
awesome,
it's a great tribute.
Amazing they're doing that tribute to him and what he's sort of gone through this year. So. Warriors by 6, I'm gonna say. Yeah,
I'll say Warriors by 8, but not sure who's going to be taking over the kicking duties for the Warriors. Shaun Johnson, it was quite strange to see Adam Pompey taking over, but it was said that Shaun had a bit of a quad injury, but nothing too serious. So obviously, he could continue playing. He took one kick at the end when we had a penalty against the Tigers, but that was about it. But I'm not sure who will be taking over kicking duties this week. What are your thoughts on John Schuster? Because he's one of those other players who's got a lot of talent, but he seems to be his own worst enemy. Where he's a 5'8", but he doesn't look like a 5'8", doesn't he? He looks like a front row forward, and he got an intercept pass in last week's game against the Panthers, and he ran, and he didn't look like a back, back running. He ran quite a he ran about 60 meters up the field, but someone who's a 5'8" should be able to run the whole way and not get tackled. And he had a bit of a advantage, and he still got tackled, but he kicked the ball away. But he seems to be just for a 5'8", he seems to be a very big boy, and again another man who's full of talent but just not showing it.
Yeah, I think because he obviously wanted to play 5'8", didn't he? So it seemed like he kicked up a bit of a fuss about it, and then obviously with Brox is going there next year. Let Brox is going there next week.
Yeah, he's going there next year, and
so he'll obviously sneak into the halves with Cherry Evans. So Schuster must have been told, you're playing
back row,
second row, or you're on the bench, or you're not there. So he'll have to deal with it.
He's not 800,000. He's not 800,000 a year. It's quite a lot of money to be paying someone who's not putting in the work. Because it feels like to me he's not putting in the work.
Yeah,
to get to that level that he can execute at. He's just. There's been talk about him being lazy and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be good to have as a second rower, and then if you ever need someone to slot into the halves, he can do it. But I don't think he's not a starting half, is he? He's got a little bit of slippery footwork, but probably more better suited to those lines that a second rower runs as opposed to a 6. So I mean I'm just looking through this Eagles team at the moment, and there's not too much that concerns me. You got Jason Saab on the wing. He's a great man, and I feel like he's the sort of player that you don't want him getting intercept because it's bye-bye, So we had a few moments in that Tigers game where, defensively, someone just popped through a hole, and then, I think 2 of their tries were just from, broken play where it was just a bit of lazy defense, So we can't be doing that when you got a player like him there, but.
They've got to tidy up that left edge of defense there, because it's that edge where players are breaking through. It's not on the right edge; it's at the left edge there. So they've got to tidy that up. Between Luke Metcalf and Pompey there. They're just getting caught out a little bit, and there's some gaps opening there. So I'm pretty sure that'll be a big thing that Webby would have been working on with them throughout the week. But let's see this game what comes up. But should we move on to the next game?
Yep, sounds good.
Eels versus Roosters on Friday as well after the Warriors game at Combank Stadium. Home game for the Eels against the Roosters. I think the Roosters are just going to blow them away. I think the Roosters. I wouldn't, normally you don't really say this season about the Roosters, but I think they'll blow the Eels away. To be honest. Yeah,
huge game for both teams. They're 10th and 11th on the table, and they're both on 26 points. Yeah, so I've sort of mentioned before. I'm not saying the Roosters are going to make the 8, but I'm just saying watch the space. So yeah, I love the Roosters here as well. I thought they looked great against the Dolphins last week. Hutchinson was playing in the halves, playing halfback, and he was brilliant. I thought, he big running 7, crashed over for a couple of tries. Tedesco looks good. I think Manu snuck over for a try. Brandon Smith got a try. It was a bit of a try fest for the Roosters. So I'm all over the Roosters for this game.
Yeah, same. And just for context, I meant blow them off the park, not blow them away. So anyone's listening, that's sorry about that. West Tigers versus Dolphins on Saturday, 3 p.m. at Combank Stadium. That's an interesting one because I thought if the Tigers play the way they did against the Warriors, I think they can put up a good challenge to the Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins would have done a bit better last week, but I thought they were coming a bit closer. But yeah, I think I'm actually going to give the Tigers this one. To be honest, I'm going to give the Tigers this one.
I love the Tigers this week. Yeah, they've been unlucky a few weeks in a row, playing some pretty good footy. Obviously, who they lose to the week before? They just beat they just lost to the Raiders the week before. Was it? Or was it the Dragons? One of those two.
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember.
But yeah, love the Tigers. I think they'll be back at home. Well, their official home. And I want to see some of that, running football. I want to see Dan Laurie, those Dan Laurie offloads and slipping on through the line.
Yep, fair enough. Titans Panthers Saturday 5:30 p.m. at Super Stadium. Yeah, well, I don't think we don't have to talk too much about this. I just think Panthers. It's just Panthers.
Yeah. Titans 13th, 22 points. They're out. Yeah, they can't make it.
Yeah.
Panthers by Titans might put a bit far. I'll actually go Panthers 1-12.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I would say 13, but yeah.
No, okay. Yeah, I think that the Titans will be disappointed about last week because the last couple of weeks, really, if that wasn't for the red card against the Warriors, their season, they could have been making that late charge, and then that was probably a bad confidence, bad hit for their confidence that game, and then obviously big loss last week didn't help their cause. But Panthers just know they'll just keep on with their business, but they'll be tighter than we reckon. I think than you reckon at least.
Yeah, fair enough. Dragon Storm Saturday 7:35 p.m. at Wynn Stadium. Yeah, again similar to the Panthers. I think the Storm's just gonna wipe them away. So
yeah, Storm by 40.
Yeah, I think it'll be along those lines. I'm with you on that one. Yeah,
it's been a long season for the Dragons. They'll be counting down the days till Mad Monday, I think.
Yep, so I think so.
Press for all those Dragons fans out there, especially you, Smitty, if you're listening.
Yeah. Knights versus Rabbitohs Sunday 2 p.m. at McDonald Jones Stadium. Knights with a home game against Rabbitohs. I think it's more of a hot team playing a cold team at the moment, and I think the Knights will just take it out.
Oh,
I think they'll take it out.
This is the match of the round. Plenty on the line. 7v8. There's only 1 point separating them on the table. I'll admit the Rabbitohs have been not at their best, but they're still winning. I said it last week. The Knights' winning streak has to come to an end at some point.
All right.
It didn't last week, but
are you calling it then? Are you calling it?
Week, yeah, I think this is the week.
All right. I
think the Rabbitohs have just, they got the win last week. They never looked like losing, and there's that sort of left edge that's starting to look a little bit back to its best. I think they probably haven't even been back to its best since Origin. With they've had some injuries. Campbell Graham was injured. Latrell was injured. Obviously Cody Walker was out of the squad for a week with Origin duties. I think this might be the week that they sort of come back and show us why they were one of the premiership sort of favourites at the start of the season.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, to be honest, I actually want the Knights to lose. Just to, to cool them down a bit, I want them to lose, but I just don't see them losing. That's how I see it anyway. But last game of the round, Raiders v Bulldogs, Sunday 4-5 p.m. at GIO Stadium. Yeah, I think the Raiders will win, but it'll be like a game where they look good, but really it's against a team that's just playing crap. And I mean, I think Gus Gould gave his assessment on the season, and it wasn't very good, and fair enough too, because they were just useless. They were useless this year, the Bulldogs, and I think the Raiders will put on a good score against them, and they'll think that with this performance, this is what I'm predicting is going to happen. They're going to put on a good performance against the Bulldogs, and then they're going to say, oh yeah, we're back in it, we can beat anybody. But I just think it's just to me, it's just it's fake. It's fake to me.
Yeah, if the Bulldogs weren't so bad last week, I thought they'd be a lot better against the Knights. If they weren't so bad last week, I'd be tempted to pick them against the Raiders here. They're just, you got a feel for the Bulldogs. They sort of made all these signings. They got who they thought would be the hot new coach and all that. But just things have not. I mean, didn't help that sort of kick out of there. One of their big signings is spent so much time on the sideline. But things are going to get better for them in next year. I think they've obviously got a few new players coming next year as well. So maybe that'll be the year that they come back to their sort of former glory, because they're a proud club and they've had a lot of success.
Yeah.
But
do you think the coach needs to take a bit of heat for this season? I know it's his first year in first grade, but do you think he needs to take a bit of heat?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they weren't great the year before. Maybe if they'd shown much promise the year before, and even early in the season, they looked all right. And think about this. I think we played them. The Warriors played them twice, and we beat them twice. But both times, we were celebrating those wins. So it wasn't like, I think that they were playing good footy, and it just hasn't to be this year. If there's next year, if there's they don't pick up their game, because we've got like Crichton coming. I'm just trying to think. I'm sure they've got someone else, another decent player coming as well next year. So they're going to have a whole, in the last 3 years, basically like a whole new team almost. So
Panthers, a whole new team of Panthers.
Yeah, exactly. The Panthers will still be minor premiers next year as well.
The way it's going.
Now, I mean, I can't tip the Bulldogs just on last week's performance, but I'll tip the Raiders and a tightish 1-12.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Well, the only difference between us this week in tips is I've got the Knights this week, and you are going with the Rabbitohs, which is all good. That's probably going to be the game of the round. So let's see how that goes. But for the Warriors, the main game for us as well, Warriors to win. Hopefully, I don't care if they only lose by a few points. I just want to see a better performance. All around, an attack and defense. Like if the Eagles are going to put some points on, I don't want it to be through they're just breaking tackles, or finding gaps and stuff. And because if they continue to do that like they've done the last couple of games, teams like the Broncos, who are really good at exposing that sort of stuff, are going to tear us apart. So really want them to fix their defense there, because if they fix their defense, I'm not too concerned about the attack. I think we'll be sorted. We've had a good defense all season. I mean, at one point we were the second or third best in the NRL for defense. So they've had a good defense. So to see that happen is why I was a little bit worried, concerning. But yeah, I think if they can sort that out, I think we'll be fine. But I just want to see a polished performance. That's all. I don't care about the score right now. I just want to see a polished performance. As long as we get the 2 points, I'm good. Yeah.
You just make up your mind, John. First of all, you're saying you don't mind if we win, and then you're saying we've got to get the 2 points, and you're saying I just want to see. Yeah, I mean,
No.
I'll go.
I mean it with the win, though. I mean it with the win, though. I mean a polished performance
No,
with the win.
you literally said, we'll rewind it on the recording.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
If
you
I said it
literally
wrong,
said,
sorry.
I don't even want to see. I don't care about us winning this week. I will go on
No,
record.
that's not what
I do
okay.
care about us winning this week.
If
We
I
need to
said
get the
that,
2 points, and
yeah.
we need to
If
get
I
the
said
third
that, sorry.
position.
That's okay. If I said that, sorry, that's not what I meant. What I mean is, I don't care if we win by a lot. That's what I mean. Like, okay. Let me just, wipe that. What I meant was, I don't care if we win by a small margin, as long as the performance is a polished performance. I just want to see a proper performance. I don't want to see them lose, because I want them to stay in the top 4.
Yeah.
Because if we lose, the Storm are going into the. Storm will go above us, because they're only 10 points behind us in point differential, so they'll go ahead of us. So yeah, all I want is just us to keep winning. That's all, and as long as the performance is there.
Hey, the Dragons could always do us a solid, and pull off a bit of a upset of the year. The Knights did it for us a few weeks ago, so
Yeah,
really the Dragons can get on board.
Yeah. Don't see it happening, mate. Don't see
Down
it happening.
Dragons.
But wanted to ask you, how's all the grand final planning going? Because I mean, you've gone a few steps ahead of me and booked your tickets and accommodation, haven't you already?
Yeah, we booked some. Well, we actually ended up having to get a couple of different accommodations booked, because me and one of my friends are only there for 2 nights, and everyone else is there for 3 nights.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of drama at the one accommodation. So shout out to, I think his name was Raul at 720 on George, I think it's called, in Sydney somewhere. Apparently, it was the worst customer service that any of the boys had ever encountered in hospitality. So yeah. They're very much looking. They're very much looking. Yeah, they're very much looking forward to their accommodation. Me and my friend Kyle, we've got free Wi-Fi at our accommodation, so we're excited about that. Free events, free events that sit on the ad, and there was another thing. Oh, free towels. Complimentary towels. Yeah. So.
Oh, far out. Living the life, mate. Living the life.
Pumped. Yeah. So we're just going to have to get some activities in for. Well, I think we arrive about 4:45 on Saturday, and I imagine it'll be, straight to the pub, and a few schooners and of VB, or Australia's finest.
Like I said, I've got family over there, but I've also got a friend who's actually staying at a really, really nice place with a gym, sauna, swimming pool. So might have to contact them, because they're close to the city. So it makes sense. You just
gotta book your flights, bro. As I said last week, if you book them, they will come. They'll make it to the grand final.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got the faith, but I will wait. I will hold off. For now anyway. But good show tonight, mate. Good show. Really, really, really awesome insight into the games and stuff, and what's been happening. There's a lot going on NRL wise. Vegas as well. 4 teams going to Vegas with Rabbitohs, Roosters, Manly, and Broncos. I think it is. Maybe I got that wrong.
I can't see anything going wrong there. I'm sure everyone will be well behaved, and there'll be no dramas to come from that.
No, of course not. NRL players are the most well behaved players in the world. What do you expect?
The journalists are just licking their lips.
Yeah. Imagine Buzz. Buzz on 360. I knew this would happen. I don't know. I can't put a Buzz voice on. So
he'll be pointing his pen.
Yeah, I can't put a Buzz voice on. So yeah, sorry about that. If you're listening to this, but thanks everyone for listening to us and all your support. We're really, really appreciating all the downloads, etc. of this. We're on YouTube now, so we're starting to get a few views. So not many people know about this. So if you're watching this or listening,
yes, Spreaker, all the good channels.
Yeah, thanks for your support, and we appreciate it, and we're going to continue bringing in the info that we can, and the plan for the guests is coming up soon as well. So we just had a bit of a delay in that, but they will come. We've booked them; they will come apparently. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for listening to us, and let us know your feedback about what we're talking about as well. And if there's something that you want us to talk more about, let us know. Have a good night.
Up the wires. All aboard. Choo, 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 choo.